It's no surprise that I live and breathe gaming mysteries. When I'm not spending my time diving into the lore behind games, I'm often trying to find the strangest things they contain. Whether this be game-destroying occurrences, like how I overloaded Luigi's Mansion to the point it started falling apart, or trying to open the sealed doors in video games that taunted me as a child. When you play through games over and over again, you naturally become more and more curious about how they operate, and begin to wonder what strange things developers left behind in them. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's video. These are some of the strangest things I've encountered in Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and I'm not going to be talking about the common ones you typically see online, like the Hell Valley trees. No, we're going pretty deep today, and I'm excited to have Nathaniel Bandy tag along for the ride. So here are some of the weirdest oddities these games have to offer. Good Egg Galaxy was a pretty standard level. It got you familiar with a lot of the mechanics in Super Mario Galaxy, and ultimately a lot of people remembered it because of the soundtrack. However, this galaxy also holds a lot of bizarre things in it. I'm sure by now you've probably seen the sign inside the house, and if you haven't, that's basically why a message pops up when you get near the door. But one of my favorite things about this level is actually a place that passes you by, on your journey for the star for King Caliente's battle fleet. These are the water worlds of Good Egg Galaxy, a cluster of small quote-unquote planets you can't actually reach normally. However, if Mario or Luigi do reach them, you can see that you can actually swim in them. Whoever made these actually designed them to be able to interact with Mario and Luigi, and honestly, it's really awesome. At the start of Super Mario Galaxy 2, Mario is put into a 2D side-scrolling world. Behind this world, we can see a lot of things passing by in the background, but what's interesting is, it actually looks like we're moving back to the castle the whole time we move to the right. However, this is just what we think is going on. In reality, Peach has two castles in this area. One is back up on the hill, and the other is far off to the right within the town. During the loading screens, we teleport around this huge map, but we never actually go to the castle in the background. On my second channel though, I actually explored it a few times, and it's pretty neat. At the end of Bowser's lava lair in Super Mario Galaxy 2, we come across a giant door. Now of course, this door is sealed shut, and we need to open it up. After smashing the various stone panels, the door opens and a magic vortex sucks us up. But this only happens correctly if Mario's position is in the right spot. If Mario isn't in this spot when activating the door, something deadly and bizarre happens. So let's say for example, Mario decides to jump in head first, and his entry point into the door is actually near the frame of the door itself. Well, we don't get warped to Bowser like we're supposed to. We get flung out into the void and have a slow, painful death, as Mario drifts through space unable to move. Doing this actually causes the game to produce some strange sounds as well, and overall it's a neat experience. Except for Mario. Obviously it's horrible for him.
Super Mario Galaxy loads levels and planets a lot differently than Super Mario Galaxy 2. Oftentimes in the first game, planets for any star exist on the map regardless of the star you're on. However, in Super Mario Galaxy 2, this isn't the case, as entire paths and planets are unloaded unless the correct star is selected. This basically can cause some weird things to happen if you sequence break the game and access planets before you're supposed to. One really neat one is a glitched floating pipe that spawns in Toy Time Galaxy. If Mario or Luigi enter this pipe, they travel to a normal underground area, but if they try to leave it, they'll die instantly. The jumping animation for the pipe is just long enough for the death animation to trigger before the player can move. And the worst part is, you'll respawn jumping out of the pipe and burn through all your lives instantly. What a way to go, man.
Battle Rock is an enormous level that we only get to explore a fraction of. Honestly, it's kind of sad we don't actually get to check out more of it. The majority of this level has collision and can be walked on, but the biggest issue is that gravity doesn't function properly when you're in the areas you're not supposed to be in. This makes navigating the giant rock insanely difficult, and you often fall to your death. However, one of the most interesting things I discovered about this level is that there is actually a hole in the geometry. So basically, in all 3D models, you have polygons that when combined, form the shape of an object. If someone doesn't make sure all the polygons are closed, you basically have a hole in your model. and Battle Rock has one of these. Hidden way at the top of the level is a hole in Battle Rock's geometry that a player can actually enter to get inside this massive planet. Of course, the only thing that waits someone inside is death, but it's still pretty cool to know that with hacks you can actually survive long enough inside to check the place out.
In Cloudy Court Galaxy, there's lots of different buildings floating around. What's strange about these buildings is that all of them lack flooring. If you were to look into them, you can see that they are hollow with staggered bottoms. Any seasoned Mario vet would instantly want to jump inside of them and wall kick to the top, but given how the level unfolds, you often don't have enough cloud uses to get to a desired area. Interesting enough, even if you could get there, you can't actually do anything. Despite being open on the bottom, Mario can't go inside and hits an invisible barrier. Another bizarre thing in this level actually takes place in this 2D section too. In all 2D sections in the game, Mario is actually trapped between two super tall transparent walls. However, if he were to get out of these, we can actually walk on the roof of the half building that is behind us. Why the designers made this object have collision, despite Mario never being able to come in contact with it, is unknown.
Spin Day Galaxy was a level I actually didn't enjoy much in the game, but upon returning to it, I fell in love with it. The background to this level is superb because it looks like the entire galaxy takes place within the core of a planet. But despite seeing this outer world, we can actually never reach it no matter how far we travel. However, within this world is a very strange object. A vanishing moon. Now, some of you may have seen me travel to this area on my second channel, but the gist of it is this. If you choose Star 1 on this map, this weird moon loads in the Star 2 area that you can never go to. However, upon loading Star 2, the moon actually unloads. So basically, the only way to check out this moon at all is to go where Mario isn't supposed to go, which is what I've become really good at. This moon doesn't have any gravity and is quite small, but it was such a cool experience when I first stumbled upon it.
This one is pretty neat since you normally can't see this through the standard camera, but upon starting Freezy Flake Galaxy, there's a small house with a rabbit inside of it. Normally you can see this rabbit through the window, but the truth is, the window doesn't actually exist all the way through the house. If you were to look from inside the house yourself, you'd see that the windows are only outward facing. It's a one-way illusion and it's pretty strange.
Now, this one is a bit complex, but in Gusty Garden Galaxy, there's a series of 3 apples that a caterpillar eats through. Now, the game usually has this creature go from apple to apple in a set order, but we have the ability to mess up the game if we do it out of order. Basically, each apple has a stump that makes the caterpillar shoot out of it. However, hitting a stump on an apple you're not supposed to be on yet still triggers the caterpillar to move from the apple it's currently on. What the game doesn't account for is the extra distance that the caterpillar normally travels, because the gaps between each apple are actually different sizes. This forces the caterpillar to essentially break apart and glitch out. It's truly bizarre. There's a lot of different combinations and effects that can happen. I made a video documenting all the different outcomes on my other channel, and it's definitely worth a watch.
Probably one of the most memorable starting areas out of any level in the game. Rightside Down Galaxy's starting area features a fairly large blockhouse that we fly into upon loading the stage. Of course, we're whisked away and we never got back here. No chance to explore and see what it has to offer. The funny thing is, even if we were to make it back to this house, we actually can't walk on it. Mario falls right through it and tumbles to his death. It's pretty bizarre because the toad ships around it have collision, but this place doesn't, except for the pipe at the top. But we can't stand on that since it'll spit us back into the level, so this whole blockhouse is essentially fake.
At Bowser Jr.'s Airship Armada, there's a lot of areas we can't actually get to. Tons of battleships litter the skies, and trying to reach any of them through normal means usually kills Mario or Luigi. However, one of the most interesting things about this level aren't actually the ships around the area. It's what we can't see, which is truly bizarre. And at the end of the level is an enormous invisible box just off the side of the ship. It's several hundred feet tall and wide, and it continually forces Mario or Luigi outwards. This means technically you could sit upon the box and never fall down despite there being no floor, because you get forced upwards to counteract gravity's pull, and it suspends you in the air. It's a really bizarre occurrence. I absolutely love the Star Festival in Super Mario Galaxy. It's honestly one of the most beautiful levels in the game, and that's saying a lot because lots of the environments are spectacular. What's really neat about this area though is that it's sort of similar to the duplicate castle I mentioned before from Super Mario Galaxy 2, except this time the castle is mirrored below the floor of the level so that it looks like it's reflected in the water. This is a trick that a lot of games do, and I recently made a video about this concept. In it, I show you how to explore mirror worlds within reflections, without actually dying, because oftentimes they just instantly kill you if you travel to them. If you're interested in giving that a gander, check out the description or the eye icon above. Regardless, this aspect of the Star Festival was always super cool to me, and I always wanted to swim in that pool of water. Tall Trunk Galaxy boasts one of the biggest trees in the game, and of course when I sat under it, I always wanted to explore it in its entirety. The issue with this is that we can't actually explore the tree, because it stems out so far from the small planet it grows out of. Beyond that, Yoshi's blimp fruit only goes so high, so we can't actually get near the top of the tree. However, what's interesting is that at the top of the tree is a hidden canopy area that Mario can explore. It's like a tree fort completely hidden in the leaves, and there's normally no way he can access this area without cheating. Kind of a weird but neat discovery that sat at the top of this tree for years, never being documented. Now this is my favorite. You see, obviously with a game based around traveling through space, one would generally be interested in what else is out there. Much like our own world, the properties and mechanics that make up Mario's universe have tons of quirks and weird oddities as showcased in this video. However, out of all the discoveries I've made exploring countless galaxies, discovering how to travel via a generated wormhole is by far the most interesting. Essentially, this grants Mario the ability to travel instantaneously across a galaxy, thousands and thousands of feet. It's a freak phenomenon that can occur when conditions line up just right, but for this final discovery, I'll actually be making a full-fledged video documenting the process behind it. It's a tad complex and cannot be utilized for speedruns, but it's still pretty awesome. In the meantime though, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when it drops. And with that, thanks for tuning in for this discovery tour. I hope you enjoyed this quirky look at two awesome Mario games. If you want even more bizarre gaming goodness, check out these two videos on screen. Thanks for watching guys and gals, and until my next video, cheers.